Hello and welcome back to Moonlight Museum and, of course, 2 Point Museum. Now, you might immediately notice that there is some changes in the museum itself. And that is because off camera, I went ahead and just laid out some of my floor plan. So anywhere you see this tile here is basically going to be exhibit. Everywhere else is sort of walkways. And then for this back section down here, I just split it up as best I could. So these two end rooms are 9 wide and the 3 middle ones are 10. So things like the marketing office and the camera room will probably go in these smaller ones here. And then we'll have our workshop, analysis room, and our training rooms in the others. But we're not quite up to building those just yet. The first thing that I actually wanted to do was go ahead and decorate out our entranceway, because currently it's a little bit boring and there really isn't much happening. So we're going to jump straight into a time lapse and get this thing all decorated. Alright, so I think that's looking a little bit better. It's still not perfect, but you know, we're going to unlock things as we go, so we can always add more later on down the line. I actually really like these candles, by the way, so I'm going to add one more just about there. And you know what? Let's throw some by the door as well. Never mind. We can't do that. The door is huge and it has a massive hitbox, but that is all good for the moment. The only thing I really also wanted to add in here was some food and drink for our guests, because currently we don't have any and we probably should. So I'm going to leave 2 gap in the middle of these, and then that way we can go ahead and unlock our drinking fountain, which is a very useful item, and throw a bin down in there as well, just so that people have somewhere that they can get some food and drink. And I'm actually going to copy this whole thing over to the other side. If you didn't know, holding down Control allows you to select an item if your hand is currently empty. So that's a nice little trick to get things copied over nice and quickly. The only other thing that I think we should probably go ahead and add, well, actually there's 2. The first is a tour stand, because tours are going to give us more donations overall. And this isn't probably the perfect place for this, but it's going to be where it is for the moment. And we are just going to select the exhibits that we currently have. That is going to give us an average quality with 156 buzz, perfect decoration, great cohesion, and perfect length. That is good enough for me to get started, because that is literally everything we have. But that is in of itself going to require us to get a tour guide. And I believe that is an expert, which we currently don't have really any great candidates for. If we have a look at our job assignments here, these are the experts we currently have. Sunset Puma here, if we go into their skills and traits, has discounted salary expectations and vending machines increase happiness. So he should be a little bit happier now that we have some vending machines around. Nothing to do with tours though, and none of these guys, Alarius Echo and Ruben Moretta, also don't have any tour guide abilities. That is okay though. Also, you shouldn't be doing either of those things. And Alarius Echo is currently off exploring the world. But we'll go ahead and put in a new thing here to try and hopefully get someone with some tour guide ability, or at the very least someone who doesn't actually have any current skills, and that way we can train them up. So this tour guide stand isn't going to be working for the moment, but that's fine. At least it's in. The other thing I wanted to go ahead and add is in the middle of these, I would like to have some seating, because seating allows your guests to basically sit down and recuperate. And sometimes they need to do that. Sometimes our guests get tired, so we should absolutely give them somewhere to sit and relax as they're browsing through our museum. So let's go ahead and do that. That is in the wrong place. I want that there instead. And again, control to grab that back. And I think that'll probably do it. I don't think I want another one there. And that also doesn't line up. So this is the center, but it doesn't line up with our doors. So I'm actually going to make sure that these are lined up in the center. But I don't think I like that. So I'm going to move this back to where it was and go ahead and grab myself another one for right there and we'll just pretend that it's centered, even though it is definitely not. So that'll be fine. And that is all I wanted to add for the moment. I should probably go ahead and add some kind of decoration in between those things as well, though. So I'm going to scroll over to my modded items, and I quite like the rose bushes with these chairs. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we can let the game run for a little bit. We've unlocked a new location, fantastic, and another one, and we need people in the gift shop. That'll be fine. So our museum is currently up and running. We've got expeditions going out to grab some more artifacts. We are currently visiting the greasy fields here, looking for these 3 undiscovered fossils. And once we have those, I'll probably just go ahead and set them up as we get them. But once we have all 3 of those, I will come back and we will talk about what is going on next. I thought we were going to have the perfect candidate here with Luna Nosh, but unfortunately, one of her skills is dull, so she impairs tour guide ability. She might still be a decent hire as an adventurer because she is level 3 and she doesn't have any predefined skills, so we can train her in whatever we actually want to. So I think I will actually go ahead and hire them. And this is going to be Anders Oslis. So welcome to the team and thank you for your patronage. Now, of course, we do need to go ahead and train them, but we do not currently have a training room. We do have $109,000 in the bank, so I think we can go ahead and get this done. I'm going to oh, of course it doesn't line up. I had this beautiful plan to have this all line up nicely, and of course it doesn't. So I think I'll probably make these rooms a little bit smaller. 4x7 should be more than enough for our training room, and we can have the other room in there. That's actually very unfortunate. Yeah, that lines up, so that's fine. I didn't think about the fact that you could build half floors but not half walls. Anyway, that all being said and done, we can go ahead and throw down our door. We need a little library stand in the back here, and some desks, as well as a book return box. And I like to put the book return box right next to the library itself. And honestly, one training desk is probably going to be enough, but the room's going to look super empty. So with that being said, I'll probably throw down maybe 5 in here. We go there, there, and there. That can look fine. And we'll throw down some filing cabinets around the place around those. And then I'll go ahead and decorate this room out. I said that I would decorate this room out in a time lapse, but I actually wanted to note something really quick. There are items that boost certain rooms. So as we're in this room here, you can see the training award here will give us plus 2% training power. We do need to unlock it with Kudosh, and same with the training certificate and the training diploma. They're 50 each, so we could go ahead and get 2 of these. That would make training a little bit quicker, but I think I want to save my Kudosh for now, mostly for the workshop and the analysis room. Get those up and running a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to decorate this normally, and we'll be back in a little bit. And that is going to be our training room. So now we can go ahead and click on Anders Oslis up here and say, what do we want to give you? I think for this particular explorer, because the other one had survey skills, I believe, I would like to go for, I think, pilot wings and survival skills. If we go ahead and have a look at our next location, which is probably going to be Rib Row down here, which we can actually unlock now. And look at the events. There's Sandstorm, which is helicopter damage, which we can't really avoid. Snakebite, That is just counted by having enough rank. Quicksand is counted by survival skills, so I think survival skills should be the first thing we train on this guy. And I'm also going to go ahead and throw an E in front of his name so I can remember that he is actually an explorer. So we'll go ahead and throw survival skills. That will give him plus 25% bandage box treatment speed and plus 25 expedition ailment recovery speed. It is going to cost a little bit more money to have him employed and be happy, and it's going to cost us $1,000 to train him. But that is definitely going to be worth it. So with him in training now, we can go ahead and continue on with the time lapse. This is actually pretty good. So this star fossil is rare, and that's one thing. But we actually got an epic quality version of it, which is honestly not bad. I've heard of people on Reddit having to go on 150 expeditions to get the pristine version of this. I will eventually try to get the pristine version of this, but starting with an epic really isn't bad at all. And we actually have one already. So we could go ahead and throw it down and have two, but I don't like to run my museums like that. So we're going to return that to the inventory, and then we're going to take the better of the two and throw that down right about there. Now, keep in mind, when you do that, the buzz requirements may change. So if we grab this out again, you can see the buzz requirement on this is just to be near a donation stand, but the buzz requirement on this is to be near a fossil decal. So keep that in mind when you're swapping out your exhibits, because it may require you to go in and grab yourself a different decoration to get that up to maximum buzz. The other thing you need to keep in mind when you go ahead and swap out your exhibits is that your tour setup will change. So I'm going to remove everything again from this because it's just a little bit easier. Add everything back in, and that should be good to go. You can, of course, go into the tour setup, add it in, and then use these arrows to move it around, but that's a little bit more hassle than I think it's worth. I wish you could just like drag these around, but that is unfortunately not the case. So with that found, I believe there is still one more relic, potentially two more relics that we haven't found yet. I think it might just be the one though. So we're going to go ahead and try and find that. Yeah, one more in here, and we can go ahead and send Alarius Echo back out with our first aid kit on a safe expedition. That will be absolutely fine. Off you go and jump back into the time lapse. We now have two spare exhibits, and we could go ahead and sell these for, a decent amount of money. It looks like they've actually changed the prices. When I was playing before, these were only like 3,000 each. So that's interesting, or it might be because this star fossil's rare. But we're not going to sell our exhibits. Instead, we're going to go ahead and build ourselves a brand new room. And that is going to be the analysis room. And it's going to be smack bang in the middle here, one over the edge. And this is where we are going. Actually, is this where I want it? Or do I want the workshop here? No, I think I want this here. So that'll go there. And we can go ahead and throw down our analysis machine. I am going to leave room for a second one. Never mind, you can't have two in the same room. Maybe you can have two analysis rooms. My goodness, I can't talk. So that's going to go there. I'm going to decorate this room out to get it up to 5 stars on the room decoration rating, and we'll be back in a little bit. This room is looking a little bit bland at the moment, but this is going to allow us to deconstruct our leftover exhibits. Now, again, we need to check on our experts and see if we have anyone that is actually available to go ahead and analyze things, and we don't. So we need someone else. Ace Nut here actually is not bad as an explorer as well with the pilot wings, but I don't think we'll go ahead and take them. I really want someone with either nothing or just the things that I want. So we're going to reject them for the moment and go ahead and send out a new advertisement. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and actually upgrade these. So this is going to get upgraded to Deconstructor 2. It's going to cost us 5 grand, take 25 days, but it will give us an extra 10% analysis power. That is going to require a janitor. That should automatically get assigned to someone, which it has, just as we get a brand new crate on our helipad. Again, I think we already have this one. Oh, no, we do not. So we can go ahead and place down our Helix fossil, which is the last fossil to find in that area. Because it's in this decorated area already, we've already got full buzz and full decoration on it, and that is going to be fantastic. Looks like we've unlocked a new location. And do we have any applicants? Again, just pilot wings. We really aren't looking for pilot wings. Penelope Green has one of the skills that I like, but she's the wrong type, so that's unfortunate. We'll go ahead and wait until I find someone who can actually be designated to the analysis room, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we did not get someone for the analysis room, but we did get someone for our tours. So you are going to be our tour guide. We're going to go ahead and hire you, and you are going to be a reefing medic. So welcome to the team, Rearranging Medic. I hope you like your stay, and you are going to be able to do restoration, tours, and no analysis room. So you should be mostly focused on tours. And with that being said, he should head straight over to the tour guide station. Get up actually, before we do that, let's click on this, go to tour setup, and add our Helix fossil in. Click this up arrow so they're in the right direction. We now have great, 229, perfect, great, and perfect. You make these tours too long, people get a little bit annoyed because they don't like walking for that long. But if we jump back in and follow Reefing Medic around for a little second here, he should go ahead and gather a crowd. Hopefully a decent sized crowd. Looks like some people just need to use the restroom. Okay, no one's interested in that, but we did get a new candidate in here, and this is a level 3 prehistory expert with slow recovery from injuries. That is going to be absolutely fine. We don't need to rename Beryl because we have currently all of our Golden Panda members in the game, but if you would like your name to be in the game, go ahead and join at the Golden Panda membership level or above, and I'll add you in next time. But we're going to go ahead and open the training menu here for Beryl and say you are going to be doing analysis for us. This is going to boost analysis room proficiency and give us a plus 25% analysis speed. So that is going to be fantastic. And then we can go ahead and check on your job assignments and say you're not going to do tours, but you can do the analysis room. We now have 6 adventurers, experts, whatever you want to call them, and that should be more than enough. We also have a brand new crate with a disc fossil in it, so that is going to be a fantastic example of what we do next. So we currently have the star fossil, the honeyed bee, and the disc fossil in our inventory. And we also have an analysis room with someone training up to do analysis in the future. And you can see here, we currently have 1 of 3 knowledge on the star fossil, 1 of 2 knowledge on the honeyed bee, and 1 of 3 knowledge on the disc fossil. To go ahead and increase our knowledge of these exhibits, we can go ahead and simply place it in the analysis machine. It will be queued up for analysis as soon as this guy finishes his training, and then we'll get some, potentially some money, although that might only be once you have all the knowledge unlocked. We'll get ourselves a perk, and we'll get ourselves another point of knowledge on that exhibit. So I am, for the meantime, going to continue on just going to grassy fields, getting our exhibits leveled up to the highest level that we can possibly have them, and researching the ones that we don't. So that is going to be fantastic. We also have a new event here, and I believe if we go back, that is because we are currently at level 3, which means our max quality is now pristine, and we've been on 7 total expeditions. What that means is we can take Illyrius Echo here. I mean, the survey level at this point really doesn't matter. We're at max level for this location. But if we go ahead and give them the first aid kit, you can see there are 2 events here. One is the camping spot, and the other is sneaky survey, which gives our exhibit quality a +1, which means if we go for the safe approach, only one of these events will happen on the expedition. So we'll either get camping spot or sneaky survey, or we can switch over to detailed, and that will force 2 of these events to happen, which means we'll get both the camping spot and the sneaky survey every single time we come here until we level up someone to level 6 or level 8, and then it'll change. But for the moment, if we do a detailed survey here, we'll get both the camping spot and the sneaky survey, which is going to give us higher level exhibits. So that is exactly what I am going to do. We also have our first new sponsor, so we can jump in and have a look at what this is. Bungled Bin. Bungle Technologies wants to test the prototype for their new litter crushing hydraulic bin. It's the future of refuse and doesn't work at all. I've found this bin to be pretty terrible. You don't really get any views on it. The monthly pay is low, so I'm going to reject this offer and see what else we can get. But that is something that happened. So there you go. All right, we have officially finished our research on that item. That has unlocked the wooden torch, which is found under this Enlightenment tab down here. You can see we have 1 prehistory unlocked. That is because we've acquired 1 out of 50 knowledge. That is going to give us the wooden torch. That is just a decorative item that we can place around the place if we unpause. We also see that the honeybead exhibit has been deconstructed, increasing our knowledge level to 2 and earning a perk. Run the game again. This is the perk that we acquired. So this will increase exhibit buzz by 10%. Now, I want to be careful with where I put these because I'm currently in the process of trying to upgrade these all to pristine if I can. And while I think you can uninstall a perk, I would rather just install it once, so I'm not going to install it on any of these exhibits for the moment. The thing that I will do though is go ahead and throw our star fossil in there to be deconstructed, and we'll start leveling up our knowledge as we go. And we finally have our first pristine exhibit. You can see the helix fossil here is pristine. We still currently only have 1 of 3 knowledge on it, but we can send that to our inventory real quick. That is going to give us a shiny sticker for our collection, which is right here, and that is going to give us a nice 50 kudos. And we can go ahead and say this helix fossil can return to our inventory, and instead we'll throw down the pristine version. We do need to, of course, check that the buzz is good, and we can also go ahead and install that perk, because pristine is the highest level of exhibit you can have, so installing that perk on there is a good idea. That also gives us this helix fossil here, which we can go ahead and deconstruct later on. But for the moment, we're going to continue on with exploration and getting ourselves better quality exhibits. We should probably also address some of our staffing issues here. We currently only have 3 assistants, and that is honestly just not enough. So I'm going to hire Benji here to work the ticket booths. I am also going to hire, Finlay Gold here to work wherever they want to. And I will also hire Lola Corruption to work wherever you want to. So we're going to jump into staff here, go to our assistants tab. And the reason that I want Benji to only work the ticket booths is because he has accomplished admission. And this boosts ticket booths proficiency by 20%. So we don't want him doing anything but that because he is going to be the most efficient at that job. Basically, everyone else can do whatever they want, and that is going to be absolutely fine. So we'll continue on with the time lapse. And we've actually reached 1 star. Congratulations, you've achieved a new star rating by the Department of Culture. We are rewarded with $10,000 and 5K, which is kudos. We'll go ahead and... Is that kudos? I thought that was in a circle, but okay. Maybe they changed the symbol. I think they might have, actually. And we also have been promoted to Curator Class 1. The Department of Culture has rewarded the following items. Another 5 grand and 100 kudos, and we can now receive 2 stars. So our next objective for Curator Class 2 is to receive a 2-star rating in 1 museum, which we can absolutely do. And to get that star, we need to run a tour containing 4 dinosaur bones with a rating over 4. We currently don't have any dinosaur bones, so that is something that we need to work on very, very soon. And we also need to attract 15 guests through marketing, which is going to mean we need to build a marketing room here at some point. And you know what? With $50,000 in the bank, I think we can go ahead and do that now. Now, I've actually never built a marketing office before, but I can't imagine it's that difficult. So let's go ahead and do that. That is unfortunate. That'll do. That'll be just fine. And this is going to require a door. I am going to put the door on this side though, just so that we can have more exhibit space over here because we do already have that door there. And all this room is going to require is a marketing desk and a drawing board, which is absolutely something that we can do. So I'll go ahead and design this room out and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we officially have a marketing room, and I actually believe that we already have someone qualified in marketing, and we do. Eva Goth Hancock here is absolutely able to work in our marketing office, so we can leave her assigned to basically everything there, and that will be absolutely fine. The only thing that we do need to fix here is our flooring, because that should be that type of flooring there, and that will work out quite nicely. And yeah, so we have a marketing room now. We can go ahead, and I actually don't know how to use this room. But I believe we should be able to start a marketing campaign. And I'm going to figure out how to do that, and then we'll be back. You don't click on a specific item of furniture in this room, you just click on the whole room itself. So you can also increase the amount of staff that work in this, which is interesting to note. But we're going to go ahead and start our very first marketing campaign. And it looks like the idea here is that you can market to different types of guests. So if you're unsure of what the guest types are, you can of course go to your sticker book and have a look at what they like. We probably won't go ahead and advertise to children at the moment because we don't have any interactive displays that they can actually go ahead and look at. But it looks like tourists mostly appreciate buzz, professors mostly appreciate knowledge, and normal guests have a decent split between buzz and knowledge. So we could go for families, we could go for tourists, we could go for goth, which we haven't seen yet, I don't think. Or we could just go for a general museum campaign. I think that's probably the way to go. We can also do subcategories. So we have fossils campaign or a preserved history campaign. That is interesting. The fossils campaign specifically increases chances up to 20% of guests arriving with fossils as their favorite subcategory. We do have a lot of fossils. It also adds up to 30% buzz to all exhibits in the fossils subcategory. That is definitely interesting, to say the least. We can also run campaigns on specific exhibits. That's probably not something that I want to do right this moment, but it does give a 50% buzz to all star fossil exhibits. So if we just had a complete museum full of star fossils, that might be worthwhile. But I think I'm going to start out with the fossils campaign, see how that does. We have basic tier, standard tier, and elaborate tier. Looks like that just increases the numbers up here. So it goes from 20% chance, 40% chance, 60% chance, and buzz goes from 30%, 40% to 50%. I think we'll start with basic, and I'm just going to run it once for the moment and see how that goes. We do need to attract 15 guests through marketing, so that's going to be a good indicator of whether or not that is working. We also got a new perk that we can install, and I'm going to install that on the floppy disk here because I can, and it is pristine. So we're going to continue on with the time lapse. We're going to continue to deconstruct our fossils, continue to upgrade the fossils that we currently have, and go ahead and run that marketing campaign. Okay, our first expert has leveled up, and that is actually our analysis expert, which is what we expect because analyzing relics and deconstructing them gives you the most experience that I've seen. So that is fantastic. And because he has analysis already, we're going to go ahead and go all in with analysis too. That'll give him an extra 25% in analysis speed, which is just going to mean we can deconstruct our relics way, way faster. So we're going to continue training him. Now that we've added a couple of trainings though, we should probably go ahead and check out our staff in here and go for a pay review. Make sure when you're doing this, you click on all, and you can see down here we have a couple of employees who are not so happy about their pay, and we can fix that by just saying satisfy all pay requests. You can also give everyone a 1% pay rise to make them a little bit happier about their jobs, but that should balance everyone out to this basically okay with pay. And people are okay with having okay pay. They'll be just happy enough. You don't need to go overkill with that, but you can if you like. All right, I have a new employee to hire here because our tour guide is currently on break and we are going to need more of them at some point. So I went ahead and I searched and tried to find someone who had the tour guidelines trait or someone who had no traits so that we could hire them and train them ourselves. This guy is particularly quite good. He improves exhibit analysis speed by 50%. He's probably not going to be doing analysis, but he can if he wants to. And he also has a photographic memory. So that is going to be nice. We're going to hire you immediately, go to your job assignment and take you off of the analysis room and just keep you on tours and restoration. I'm going to pause briefly once again, just because I want to talk about money. We're currently losing around $333 a month, which honestly isn't bad for the size of the museum that we currently have. But if we go into our finances here and click on the prices menu, you can see that we currently have good value for pretty much everything in here. And good value is fine and all, your guests will be happy about it, but we can go ahead and crank up these prices quite a bit. We'll make the drink and snack machines $6. And this is going to say these are all now unknown value. It's too soon to tell what guests think of the new price. But that goes away pretty quickly. So we'll check again in a couple of days and see how we did with those price adjustments and also see how much more profit we're actually making. All right, we now officially have most of the things as pristine. So the only thing we're currently missing is the star fossil from that place as pristine. But we have it as epic quality, I think it is. And I think I'm happy leaving that there for the moment because I do know how hard it is to actually get that to be pristine. We also have enough of all of our relics here to study everything up to full knowledge, except for the star fossil. That is unfortunate. Okay, I might do a couple more expeditions just to see if we can get one more star fossil and if we can get it pristine. I'm not holding out hope, but I'm going to jump back into a time lapse and do that. Before I do that, I do want to talk about the money. You can see last month we now are officially making a profit at 514. And if we jump back into the prices tab, you can see we have fair value for the tickets, which is absolutely fine to have. Good value for basically everything else. So I'm more than happy with those prices. We could probably increase them further, but I don't think we're going to need to for the moment. We're going to leave it like that. All right, so that marketing campaign on the fossils finished, but I actually noticed a flaw in our plan. this doesn't actually attract guests to the museum. It just makes them happier once they get here. So instead, we're just going to go for the general museum campaign. That is going to add up to 10% to the museum guest arrival rate, and that should be able to fulfill this objective, I imagine. I'll probably also just throw this on repeat, and honestly, let's go for elaborate. Let's see how it goes. Okay, another thing that I wanted to talk about here. Currently, all of our exhibits have maximum knowledge, well, all of our spare exhibits anyway. Now, you have two options here. You can either go ahead and sell them, so I could sell this disc fossil, for example, for $3,000. The honeyed bee, I could sell for $5,500. If we had a spare starfish, I believe that's even more. Or we can go ahead and continue to deconstruct it. Now, this is going to give you a warning saying that this exhibit is at maximum knowledge. It will not provide any additional enlightenment when deconstructed, but it will give us a perk, and perks are good. I like perks. And it will also give us $2,500. So we're losing $500, but we are gaining a perk. And we're also gaining XP for the person who goes ahead and analyzes it. So I am going to continue to deconstruct these, and I would also like to upgrade this to the maximum level, which is Deconstructor level 3, which will give us an extra 15% analysis power, which will just make this whole thing a lot faster. All right, we've run out of money. That'll happen from time to time. We just spent too much. It is what it is. We are still making money, so we will get it back and we'll be able to do expeditions very, very soon. We could, of course, go ahead and sell one of our exhibits, which I honestly think I will sell a couple of these. So we'll go ahead and sell a couple of the disc fossils. You'll also notice that depending on what rank they are in terms of their quality, the price doesn't change. So you can sell whichever ones you want, sell the lowest ranked ones if you want to. It really doesn't make much of a difference. That's going to put $8,000 in the bank, and we're going to continue on here. I have done 19 expeditions. I think I'll go all the way up to 25 to try and get that star fossil. If we don't get it by then, I will move on. Alright, we have our first exhibit showcase. The Department of Culture wants to collaborate with your museum and loan you their Impressionist statue for a limited time. If the exhibit receives enough exposure from guests and donations, you'll pocket a sizable reward from the county. So we're going to showcase this for 6 months. We need to get at least 25 views on the target, and it needs to be decorated to a level of 3. If we complete all of those objectives, they'll give us $15,000, and if it's stolen, we have to pay them $18,750. So we are going to accept that, and honestly, this can probably just live like right up here. I think that's as good a place as any. And it'll probably live right about there. The only thing that we need to do with this is go ahead and decorate it and make sure it has everything that it needs. So first, before I forget, I have no money again. Let me go ahead and sell this honeyed bee and get a little bit of cash in the bank account. That'll be better. And now we can go ahead and throw down our donation stands and our info stands. I think... where would I like this? Probably in the center of this area, which I think is right about there. That'll be close enough anyway, and then we can throw like another one eventually down here, and that'll work nicely. So this is a general exhibit, so it's going to prefer generalized decorations. If we go into decorate here, it's automatically going to choose the general tab. Of course, you can use any decorations you like. They will all work, and honestly, some of these don't really work that well, but that rug is absolutely perfect, so I'm glad I unlocked that. And then we can go ahead and decorate with whatever else we see fit. that firefly jar is actually really quite cool. I am wondering what that is from, because I would like to use that again, I think. That is a botany and a general decoration. So there you go. Firefly jar. That's hard to say. I will move this back a little though, just so that they line up, because I think that is going to look better. It also gives us a nice little accent on that wall. So that is how you go ahead and do exhibit showcases. That is down here. You can scroll this if you weren't aware as well. We can also minimize some if we don't need them. But this is now displayed with a level 3 decoration rating. And also, while I'm thinking about it, all of our things that we upgraded here, I didn't take my own advice and they didn't get included in the tour. So we should probably go ahead and do that as well. We are now up to 4 stars with that, which is absolutely fantastic. And we can continue on trying to find this damned star fossil in a pristine state, or at least a star fossil so that we can get all of its knowledge. Okay, I just want to point something out real quick. We have this honeyed bee here, and the money we'll get from deconstructing this is only 2,083. Whereas if we sell it, we get 5,500. So I think it's probably better off, once you have all of the knowledge for the honeyed bee, to check whether or not it's worth deconstructing, because it definitely isn't to me. So we're going to sell that, get ourselves a little bit of extra cash, and continue on. Alright, our marketing person has officially leveled up, allowing us to get a new training thing for them. Now, I think it's probably worth just going all in with this one as well and going marketing 2, getting them an extra 25% in the marketing skill. It's going to cost us a little bit, take a little bit of time. For some reason, this still isn't attracting guests, which I'm not sure why. Potentially, maybe we need to do specific campaigns. I actually don't know what Goths like. If we go into here, we haven't unlocked them yet. So I'm tempted. No, let's just do tourists for the moment because, well, actually, no, professors are probably better because they prefer knowledge and we have that in spades. All of our exhibits have almost full knowledge. So I'm going to go for, I think, just standard because I think elaborate is why I was starting to lose money so frequently. And we're going to proceed with that and see if that actually attracts guests through marketing, because currently that is not really working for me. Okay, we've officially done 25 expeditions to the grassy fields and we haven't found any more of the star fossils, which is unfortunate, but I think it's probably time to cut our losses and move on. I'm going to move on to Rib Row, where we have 2 undiscovered dinosaur bones, and this again is only going to require a prehistory expert. I'm going to set up this expedition and have a look at the events that we have here. Now, we did know already that we had quicksand, which can be countered by having survival skills, which is why, of course, we hired Anders Oslis. So you are going to be our explorer for this, cancelling out that event. And from there, we can also go ahead and give them a first aid kit, cancelling out the snakebite, which means our expeditions are going to be 5 days shorter. Now, if we went for speedy, we also have the chance of having chopper damage, which we don't want. But once Anders Oslis levels up a little bit, we will give him pilot wings, I think it's called, as one of the perks, and that would cancel this out, making this expedition actually be instantaneous. Because we have an expedition shortcut, which is -5 days, and the duration is 5 days. So in theory, that should be instantaneous, but I don't think the event happens right at the start. But it would be a very quick expedition nonetheless. Either way, because we don't have level 5, the only thing we can get is shortcut, so this expedition should actually only take us 5 days to complete, which is awesome. So we're going to continue on, get ourselves some dinosaur bones, set up some new exhibits, and then we'll probably call the episode there. And our first dinosaur bone is Sharpontops skeleton. And now this is a different kind of exhibit. You can see it's got these metal bars coming through it. That means it is incomplete, as you can see over here. There are actually 3 parts to this exhibit itself. So We're going to have to go on multiple expeditions to find it, but the good news is we don't have to worry about finding a pristine version of it. All we need to do is complete the exhibit and it will turn to a pristine exhibit on its own. It's also worth $12,500, so if you're ever short on cash, go ahead and hunt for these. That seems like a great idea. But we're going to go ahead and place this down. Now, the question is where? I think back here will probably work best. It needs to be rotated around, so maybe on this side, and then we can get the other dinosaur skeleton over here. I happen to know, because I played the game before, that the other skeleton is a little bit smaller, so I think that will work out quite nicely. Again, don't forget to buy yourself some donation bins and a info stand. Would this go in the middle or would it go between the exhibits? That is the question. I think between the exhibits is going to look best. We need to, of course, check what its requirements are, and this one is fantastic. It just needs to be near an info stand, so we can decorate this how we see fit. And that looks pretty good to me, so we're going to leave it at that. It, of course, isn't going to have full buzz just yet, but that is because its base buzz is low since it's an incomplete exhibit, so don't worry too much about that. We'll continue on, continue finding some more dinosaur bones, and go from there. And you can see here, we just found the head of that skeleton. That increased the quality to great, and we now have 2 out of 3. Simply attach to exhibit, and that will go ahead and attach it to the exhibit, simple as, and we can go ahead and continue looking. Looks like we actually attracted our first guests through marketing, so that must be working to some degree. It's honestly, with a museum this size, it's probably not worth doing just yet, but I would like to get this 2nd star, so we're going to continue on with it. Let's see what this next fossil is, and it is the other skeleton. Again, this one is going to be incomplete, but there's only 2 of these, so this should be a lot easier. I can go ahead and place this exhibit right next to the other one. I'm thinking right about, well, we have 3 from there, so probably right around there. Might take a little bit of finagling to get everything lined up, like that is technically the middle there. And let's see how this is doing for decoration. Currently already 5 out of 5, so we don't have to worry about doing any more decoration around here. This little area is all set up and ready to go. All right, so we've increased everything a little bit more. Maybe like, I don't know, 3/4 of the way full on these bars, and we'll check on that in a little bit, make sure everything is still at least fair value. Looks like our impressionist statue has been repossessed. That is absolutely normal. Don't worry about that. That's just the loan coming to an end. We should get an email here or a letter here in a second with our reward. Department of Culture are thrilled with our recent collaboration, and we've been sent a generous reward. Great job showcasing their impressionist statue. So we get $15,000 for that, which we desperately needed. We just lost $3,500 in that month. I'm not 100% sure where all of our money is going. I know we're paying $15,000 in staff wages, which is excessive, but I thought we'd be making a little bit more money than we are. So I was just in the process of cancelling this campaign and changing it back to basic, so we're not spending quite as much money on it. I am still going to go for the professor, and we will repeat that campaign. But we just had our first dilemma. So while they were exploring at Rib Row, our team encountered a dilemma, and let's have a look at what that is. Nasty tumbleweed. In the distance, your team spies a horde of rolling objects heading straight towards them over the sand dunes. We can either stand and fight, wait and watch, or greet with open arms. And since it's the funniest option, I'm going to greet with open arms, and our team's warm welcome isn't reciprocated by the herd of giant tumbleweed that rolls into them and leaves them unconscious, leaves them considerably worse for wear, not unconscious. They will receive a broken face. So that is unfortunate. We're going to have to go ahead and heal them up. That is done in these bandage boxes in the staff room, which can actually be upgraded. We only have $15,000 at the moment, but I think it's going to be worthwhile to do that. We can also install perks on these, and we've found a couple. we have 2 copies of Easy Fixture, which reduces the rate of maintenance decay by 25%. That's also probably worth installing, so we're going to go ahead and do both of those. And just so that they don't use the one that I'm not upgrading, I'm actually going to edit this room and remove that other bandage box, which also gives us a handy $20,000. So that's always good to see. But our Explorer should be back here any minute, and we can have a look at what Broken Face actually does. We've gone ahead and found the last part of the Sharpened Tops skeleton, which now gives it a pristine quality. We still only have 1 out of 4 knowledge on that, but we can go ahead and find more pieces and examine and deconstruct those separately to get that knowledge. But this exhibit is now officially complete. We get ourselves a sticker book and unlock a new location. I believe Anders Östlers here is the one with the broken face. He had a rough expedition. He gets minus 25 happiness, and injuries can be cured in the staff room. This is going to last for 140 days, but he is going to go over to the bandage box and start healing up. Now, my question is, so we've unlocked 2 new locations, 3 new things. But we're going to continue on with Ribro because we still haven't found all of this skeleton here, and we want to get the knowledge from that. But my question is, do we have anyone who can successfully counter all of these events? This requires level 5, which I don't believe we can. Actually, if we sent Beryl out, she would counter that, and I believe, no, First Aid does not counter quicksand, but that's just an expedition time of plus 4 days. It's not actually a injury that would occur. So we could send Beryl out to do that, or we could just go ahead and send Ilarius Echo back out, give him the first aid kit. He's going to be a little bit slower in doing so, but I think that's a perfectly reasonable way to go just to keep this running along as our other guy is healing up. And we finally have a sponsorship that we could actually take. Cheesy Gummins would like to expand their presence in the county's museums by selling giant, soft, and inedible versions of their famous snack in your gift shop. That is going to be $875 a month, and we get a bonus of 90 per view. So I am absolutely going to put that down, and that can probably live right around there. That actually fits in perfectly. So we're going to leave that there. That'll get us an extra little bit of cash to help us along. And we're going to continue on with deconstructing all of the things that we need to deconstruct and installing perks on things that I haven't been installing perks on. So for instance, this honeybee can now get probably all 3 of these. This honeybee is the highest buzz of any of our exhibits, so it is going to benefit most from having a buzz boost. Once that's installed, we can go ahead and install other things on that as well. For instance, we could install an energy boost on both of these. Since we have 3 of them, I'll also go ahead and install it on the honeybee once that is done, and that should just overall increase the quality of our museum. We're crossing our fingers here that this is the missing piece of the skeleton, and it absolutely is. So we have now found all of the exhibits for that location, which is fantastic. You also will notice, now that these are pristine and you scroll down, you can install perks on them. I don't believe you can until they're pristine, so keep that in mind. Once they are pristine, perks are allowed to be installed. And we're going to continue on exploring in Ribro, just so that we can get the knowledge up on this. Anders Östlers is still got a broken face, so we're sending Ilarius Echo out with the first aid kit to get that done. Actually, you know what? Now that... Oh, actually, before I say anything else, there's a new crime guild in the area, casing the museum. Boogeymen make their signature entrance through the toilet. Have they no shame? So we're going to have people entering through here to try and steal and deface our things. One thing we can absolutely do to counter that a little bit is go ahead and throw down a security booth right next to the entrance of the toilet. That will allow a security member of staff to sit there and basically watch this entire area. So there is no way anyone is coming out of this toilet without being seen by this security guard, and that will give us a decent chance of catching them. But with that being said, and these exhibits are now complete, I think that is a perfect reason to end this episode. You're going to have to come back next time to check out how we expand, how we increase our knowledge, and where we go from here. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you are, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you want to join the channel as a member, go ahead and do so down below. Links are in the description. Golden Panda memberships and above get their name in the game. But until next time, happy building, happy curating. Bye, guys.